Boy, that was a bit of a shock when it first opened today. Hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Michael, I like wizards and dragons and making games, and welcome back to Making Games. Last time in this tower defense long-running Let's Make a Game series, we now have a title screen. And we also have a credit screen, and we also have some some settings on the title screen that we can mess with. Today I'm going to do level select, so when I click the start game button, nothing happens. This should just like pop up a level select, which is it's going to work on a very similar principle to the rest of the title screen. So if I were to find room, the test room, which is really not the test room, it's really the primary game that everything the primary room that everything happens in. Maybe I should rename it one of these days. But regardless, we've got a bunch of layers representing the UI. There is I can turn all these on, right? And just hide the folder, hide the gameplay folder. That makes sense. We have title screen stuff, UI title credits, UI title quit, which is would you like to quit the game? Credits is the credit screen. Let's see, I'm going to add another one, and this is going to be, let me add another object. This is going to be UI title level select. And this is going to be similar. This is going to be very similar to what we've already got. If I were to go into graphical stuff, drag out one of the background objects, and let's see, is that more or less centered in the room? That's more or less centered in the room. I think these buttons will be a little bit big. I'm gonna just arbitrarily fill out like probably 9 or 10 levels, and over the course of probably the next few weeks, I will just do level design. I don't think I'm going to make those videos because that might take a couple hours, and I really don't want to just post a 3-hour video that's just level design. I might either montage it or live stream it. I haven't decided yet. I've never really been able to get into live streaming. I've tried a bunch of times in the past, but something like level design is the sort of thing that might lend itself well to that sort of format. Anyway, let me just fill out a couple. If I can grab the box in the correct locations. Let me just fill out a couple buttons that will be things like level 1, level 2, level 3. Like I said, I'm just going to place down maybe 10 or so boxes. Can I, variables, I'm just going to give this a name that's not button name, but level 1 or something like that. We'll make it look nice in a minute. And that's going to be our level select. There's also going to be a back button. So can I duplicate this? There's going to be a back button. I'll just stick that at the bottom. Variables back. And I'll give them all behaviors and on-click methods and stuff like that in a minute. And I think I'm also going to have a, this is not quite symmetrical. I think I'm also going to have like a delete progress, delete save button in here. And it's just going to, there's not going to be a ton of save data. At least not right now. I don't think I'll be adding like persistent upgrades or anything. But for progress, whether or not you've cleared a level, I'll have a delete save button. Something like that. Let's see, first, let's, it doesn't matter if I show or hide that because it's going to be drawn manually anyway. On the title screen, what do the other buttons do when they do things like show a menu? Because this is the sort of thing where I have to, okay, so it's just setting the current title screen value. If I were to go into creation code here, the current title screen could change to UI title level select. And in the main menu, the back button could change to UI title screen, something like that. That will do what I want it to, I believe. Every time I sit down to record a couple tower defense videos, I have to relearn how my UI works, and I like the way this UI works. All right, good. Start back. I like the way the UI system works. I just can never remember what the how it's connected together, how it's connected to the rest of the game or anything like that. All right, so we've got the beginning of a title screen. Let me just finish laying this out. So this is going to be, let's say, level 2 and level 3. These are more or less evenly spaced. Okay, that's nice. Variables level 2 and level 3. This is going to be a lot of like grunt work, tedious filling out buttons and stuff. Probably I would like to spend a minimal amount of time doing this. I just duplicated the whole UI. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe level 10 can be harder or something like that. A boss level of sorts. Last one, level 10. All right. Putting everything in the correct place. That's more or less centered horizontally and vertically, I believe. I think. Let me select the whole thing and move it over a little. I think that's centered. None of the buttons do anything yet. I don't think I like the way that this one on the bottom is just sort of hanging there. All right, whatever. Anyway, it's not quite centered. Looking at it, it's I still need to drag this over a little bit. Just okay, fine. 12 levels, whatever. And let me not creation code, but variable definitions. All of these. This is the sort of thing where it would be nice if I could just define these through code. Boy, that's exciting, isn't it? If I defined the UI through code, I could just put these buttons in a loop or something, and and put all of the text on them as required. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good, I didn't miss any numbers. Okay, that'll be a level select. Would it be wise to put like select a level or something at the top? I don't know. I think it's fairly obvious what all of these buttons are intended to do. Probably in the future, once the levels are actually made, I will put like a little blurred out screenshot behind the level 6, 7, 8, whatever numbers on the buttons, just so that you can see a bit of a preview of what the level looks like. Something of that nature. I'm tempted to also put a little panel on the side that shows like the length of the track and the layout of the track and that sort of thing, and that information like that. But I really do want to keep it simple and not have like too much text thrown at the player, especially. Regardless, the next order of business is when you click on one of these levels to actually have you go to that level or something like that. Let me... Boy, this is all just... Why do I have... Oh, this is... Okay, I was going to say, why did it duplicate my room a bunch of times? But no, this is just in the GameMaker project file. This is just JSON pointing to the new instances that were created on the UI. Rather than GitHub Desktop, rather than like cloning the room. Okay. So there's also the matter of when you start the game. Let's see, where is the game object? Gameplay stuff, game. When you start the game, you load a level, and that level is all the way. I really need to split this up into multiple sections. That level is, I believe, just the like map 1, map_test, whatever I decided to call it. Okay, so here it is. When you start the game, you automatically load the test map, and that's okay. I can live with that. I want something that's not like an actual level on the title screen, though. I want to make a separate map for the title screen, and it's probably not going to have anything super special happening on it. I'm not really planning on like spending a ton of time on the level design, at least not right now. Like I said, later on I might live stream this or something, but I would like to have a map that actually looks better as a title screen map on the title screen than just like part of the first level as viewed from overhead. So let's see, if I were to go into the project folder and rename this to something like from test to what is it? It would be like level 1. .bug, and there's also the level 1 fused geometry, which is about 4 megabytes of just vertex data. This would cause nothing to load on the title screen, right? It's not so much that we'd have a crash as it would be that we have nothing loading on the title screen. So we have an error, probably from failing to read from the buffer, but we do indeed have a Can I, like, put down gameplay on the title screen? That's weird. We do indeed have a level editor. Okay, I've forgotten how bare bones this is. I really need to make a better editor. Boy, I didn't want to make, like, a nice UI for the map editor, but now I do want to. Anyway. Let's see, I did not change anything, did I? I renamed the test map. That's worth leaving a commit for. We renamed the test map. I'm going to... The first thing that we need to do before we, Okay, so let me actually create a title screen map, without just, like, messing around. Having the ability to go and, like, accidentally enter gameplay mode when you hit the tab key on the title screen is probably not what we're intending. But I will tidy this up later. First, so this is the canvas here. The camera's gonna more or less start off in the middle. The ground isn't really part of the level model. The ground is just a square that's being drawn as a vertex buffer made of, I think it's just two triangles that's just green. I might either make something that's more resembling terrain, with a different program for, like, with a different program that I've made for terrain editing, or I might just extend the plane off towards the actual horizon, or I might just extend the plane into the actual horizon just so that it's not, like, floating in the sky like this, which is a little weird. Anyway, pine trees. Okay, so let me first, that's a big pine tree. Let me, like, sort of lay out a circle of sorts, and I can just spawn in a bunch of pine trees here and there, and we're gonna keep the circle a little bit more clear. And that's gonna be, can I move this? F12 to move to a new location. Can I just move this, like here, so that if the camera's gonna be looking in here, I don't want a bunch of pine trees sort of obscuring the middle of the screen, because these are rather tall. I can add a shorter one somewhere else. Okay, so I made part of a title screen map, saved it. It crashed halfway through, but that's okay because the important part is still there. I'm gonna have to take into account trying to save fuse data that doesn't exist, because that would indeed make it fail. Let's see, the title screen map as we respawned here is a little bit farther forward than I really would like. We're not really seeing much of the sides of the map. I'd like to have the camera defaults to being a little bit farther back. I guess I can... Let's see, two things. One, for the title screen, we can start farther back, and then we can just set the camera's position to somewhere else when we enter a level. So 640, 720, let's make this like 840 or so. And possibly making it a little bit closer to the ground as well. Yeah, now we can, we're farther back, and if I were to move it lower, by a couple degrees. All right, that's a better starting view, I think. Let's see. I was looking for, when I was cycling through, and I don't see them. What are the rocks? What are the little rocks that I was using to denote paths in the actual level? Small flat A? Oh, was it these? I think it might have been these. These might have been like the rocks that I was using to denote the paths. So if I were to just drag that into the middle and... Why is that one still selected? That should not be selected. You should not stay selected, sir. If I were to form like a ring of rocks or something, then that would make it look like a path. Would it? Or would that just look like a weird fairy ring sort of deal? That's maybe not entirely what I'm going for. Stop selecting rocks. I can do this the dumb way. Like that. Yeah, the collision boxes for these objects are fairly basic. I want to say they're all like 32 by 32 blocks, meaning that some of the smaller ones get caught in each other when you mouse over them in the editor. The longer I do this, the more I would like to shore up the editor a little bit, both just to make it look better and to make it less, like, confusing, and for allowing you to click on the correct things when you mouse over them, and that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm just going to add a little bit more detail. There are the flowers, and there are other things like that, which I will scatter around a little bit. I'm thinking just for like theming purposes, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a path here and have on the title screen enemies just infinitely walking around the path and the tower shooting at the enemies, but not, you know, doing damage to them because it's automated and it's on the title screen, and that would not make any sense. Just so that the player sees it immediately when they start the game, as opposed to just a random piece of scenery like this. What do we have? We have red flowers, which are like roses. The yellow / orange ones, they're called yellow, but they're really orange. Those are like tulips, I think. And are there other colors? No, it's just red and yellow. I think there are other colors in the collection of candy models, but I've only got a small sample of them in the game right now. In the included files, this is all we have, and half of those are. Oh no, that's those are the towers. These are what we have. Half of them are like copies of each other and that sort of thing. There's one that was called Inside. Oh, it's because it does these three. These three were labeled with D3D inside the editor, and that's because they don't have the 000 at the end, which when the game reads it, it automatically removes that from the name. That's fine, really. Yellow A, yellow B. These are different yellow flowers. Okay. I like the red ones better, I think. There are 3 different kinds of red ones. That's like a poppy. B is like a poppy that hasn't bloomed yet, or something like that. Is it? Or is that the one that I would call the rose? It's not really a rose. Roses are bigger and bushy. That's a pumpkin. Alright, well, that'll do for title screen. What is it? F1 to save. Title.bug is what I called it. And it's going to crash because we are expecting a fused vertex buffer data. This was undefined, right? Because we don't have one yet. Pretty sure that's what's going on. A very large diff, because this is a very large JSON file. That should compress well enough, I think. Pretty sure that should compress decently well. Let's commit this title screen map, and let's just make this not crash when you save it without any fused data. 806. Wrong file. 806. Control G, I said. This should be if this isn't undefined. If use.raw not equal undefined. And that will prevent a crash. So if I were to do this again, everything should load correctly. I hope. Let's see, if I were to just save this again, we would not have a crash. Okay. The next thing I want to do is fuse them together. That is 52,500 vertices, I believe is what it is telling me. And I can no longer activate any individual thing. If I were to be able to move the camera around, then I'd really like the ability to just move the camera around when making game levels. You wouldn't be able to see the backs or the bottoms or anything or any of these. Regardless, let us F1 to save again. We can save the title screen. Did I accidentally delete map.bug? That's okay, right? Because that's just the test level anyway. The test level 1. I can probably get it back with source control, can't I? Map.bug. I can get that back with source control. Title.bug and title.fused are the ones I'm interested in. There should also probably be a try catch when the thing is loaded. Not a try catch. We've already got one of those. There should probably be a check to see if the fused vertex data file does exist before you load it, because that will, if it doesn't exist, that will trip the try catch, and that will prevent it from loading, and that'll cause the code to like bail out early. Oh, there is. If file exists, then do this. Okay. If fused data doesn't exist, don't load it. We have a title screen. Next, I would like to give us the ability to load a map in this video. I don't think this video is going to have gone on for too long. I'm recording 38 minutes, but a significant amount of that will be either cut out or montage, sped up, whatever I decide to do with it. What we care about is load map, and this creates a bunch of dynamic structures like entities and vertex buffers and that sort of thing. When I load a map, when I unload a map, I will need to get rid of basically all of this. So the collision grid is okay. That can be recycled. That's going to be recycled by every map in the game, as well as the fused collision grid. There's also the matter of the entities list. This needs to be cleared. Just all of them, full stop. All entities lists, they need to be cleared. I will create myself a new method. This is going to be unload. Should I call it? Okay, unload map. It's going to be function. This is really going to be unload current map. And this is going to, first, I think I will be deleting the fused vertex data because that's easy. If fused.raw is not equal to undefined, then we know that some fused vertex buffer exists. The vertex delete buffer fused.vbuff buffer delete fused.raw. That's just going to be the raw vertex data. In case you want to add to it or save it again or something like that later. There's also the matter of all of the entity lists, of which there are quite a few. Save map, update map. What's all this? This is fuse map entities, reset collision data, get under cursor. Let me just collapse all of these so that I can spend less time scrolling through it. Set game speed, send in wave. There's still some things that I'd like to do to separate gameplay stuff from like things that happen in the background, like loading the settings and stuff into different code files and into different parts of the code. But at this point, I think it's good enough that it won't really cause me any grief. Let's see. Did I scroll past the entity list? Environment. These are the templates. These are what are loaded from the files. I must have scrolled past it. Path nodes, all entities, all foes, all towers, all environment entities. Okay, so I can delete this. Wave data is probably going to be separated per map as well. Or at least it's going to be reinitialized at the beginning of every map. In fact, I believe that already is done in the initialize method because that's what happens when you restart the level without reloading it or anything like that. So there's the matter of these. I can path nodes array resize path nodes to 0. This is if I were to look this up, this is not having any. This is just an array of structs, right? Yeah, this is just an array of structs. I see JSON in there. Yeah, okay, so those are just structs. I don't have to delete whatever may or may not currently happen to be in path nodes. DS list clear all entities. Also, this is did I spell that right? I did not. This is just a DS list of structs, which are going to be garbage collected. All foes, all towers, all environment entities, same thing. All foes, all towers, all environment entities. I don't have to worry about instance destroying anything. You don't have to worry about vertex buffers being deleted or leaking or anything like that. At least I shouldn't. That will be that should be taken care of by the garbage collector. And furthermore, it doesn't really ever make sense for unload current map to be called without load map being called immediately afterwards, does it? So I'm just gonna, instead of making this a separate method, let's just put this at the beginning of load map. And let's try to enforce my use of the self keyword for instance variables a little bit more. I've been trying to get in the habit of doing that. You can see in much of this code I haven't, but I'm trying to get in the habit of doing that. Let's see. If I run the game now, nothing should happen because all this should already be empty and the game isn't trying to read anything from it, even if nothing exists. Indeed, the game did load. Nothing happens when I click on these buttons. That's fine. Let me go and make this commit. Unload current map. When you load another one. Next, and this is gonna be... do or die, because we're going to go into the test map and we're going to go into the level select. This button on click, it's going to be a function. Game dot load map. It's maps slash level 1. Maps slash level 1. I'm surprised when up until like the beginning of this video, when the game started, the map that it tried to load was maps // whatever, and I'm surprised that worked on the Raspberry Pi, because Linux usually does file paths a little bit differently than Windows does, whereas Linux would have you use // for file paths, whereas Windows would have you use //, and I guess GameMaker just converts between the two depending on your target platform, which is nice. Earlier this morning, I was dealing with some JavaScript that worked on Windows, but did not work on Linux because of that very reason with the backslashes in the file name. And I had to go through and fix all of that. Anyway, do or die, we are going to crash the game with an illegal vertex buffer specified. Okay. Why is that? Do we have to set this to undefined again? I don't think we'd have to, because we're loading it again. We're loading it again out of the map here, and we didn't fail to load the map. Oh, we did fail to load the map. Why did we fail to load the map? Illegal buffer index at -1. This looks just like we weren't able to find the file. Regardless, I think I will set this to undefined first, just in case a vertex buffer isn't loaded, and you don't want the game to crash because it thinks it's got a valid vertex buffer. Tell me the file exists, at least. Oh, I told it .map. Stop bug. Okay. Wrong file extension. I should probably put the file extensions or some other data related to loading files in a config macro somewhere. And there we go. We loaded the map. Still on the title screen. We should probably go into gameplay mode. We can move around, apparently. Can we move around on the title screen? I think we can. Anyway, I should probably put like the file extension and that sort of thing in a config macro. I should probably put the location of the map files in a config macro or something like that, but it'll work. So let me put in load level 1 map from level select. There's still a couple things we've got to do. One is going to be basically hiding this whole thing. When you click on the back button, this just sets the title screen, right? Yeah, current title screen. I should probably set this to like undefined or something. No, wait, no. What I have to do is not that, but the gameplay mode. So I should set the game.gameplay mode equals to gameplay, and that should allow us to get kicked off, started. Yeah. Game.gameplay mode is that. How many times can you say the word gameplay in a single line of code? God. Anyway, that should allow us to go into gameplay mode, and I may need to call the initialize function as well. I'm pretty sure I'll need to call the initialize function as well. Okay. And boy, that loaded instantly. Nothing crashed. I feel like it should have at least taken a couple of frames worth of time to like load the what is it, the collision where you can place towers information, but no, it looks like it's working. Why is there no Why can I place a tower inside there? Anyway, it looks like it's mostly working. I think that was a little bit of weirdness with that in previous videos, so I don't think that's new. I think that's an old bug. Viewing the collision data. Oh, is there... I see there is some collision up and way in the corner of the map and no collision data anywhere else except for the path. Is that a related problem? All right, you know what? I will write that down on... I have myself, if I go on the GitHub repository for this, I've made myself a little to-do list of things that I need to deal with. So there's a... Let's see, I would say this is high priority because of collision objects not being where they should be. But I would say, collision data on maps is not entirely accurate. We'll go with that. So there's a list of things that I would like to do. A lot of them relate to game balance. A lot of them are just maybe quality of life things. When you create a tower, it should automatically be selected. There are a couple other things I'd like to change about the game that I should probably do sooner rather than later, and I'm sure I will put those on this list eventually. And hopefully, I'm probably going to spend an episode or so just going through that list and cleaning out low priority, easy fixes and that sort of thing. Let's see, so one last thing is I said I was going to have a delete progress button. Where would that go? I could put like a trash can icon in the corner or something like that, but I can't think of a way in my head actually to make that look reasonably clean and not just like it was tacked on. Maybe I'll just total off on that for now. Anyway, we have a title screen, which can lead us to a main menu screen, which can lead us to gameplay. That is the goal of this video. I've gotten through that. Okay, I can move around on the title screen. That's good enough for me. Anyway, next time, I'm going to be adding a game over, or you win, or you lose, or whatever, some kind of results screen to gameplay whenever you finish a level, or lose a level, whatever the case may be. And from there, you will be able to, I don't know, retry the level, go back to the title screen, go to the next level, that sort of thing. And after that, because I'm going to be using the level editor quite a bit going forward, I may spend a video just cleaning that up and giving it a nice UI. Or at least a nicer UI. So look forward to that. So, my name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the video description. We should be on the, what are we, 0.46? Week 46, 0.46 release? Yeah. Let me just add that tag, create tag 0.46, and push to origin. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute towards these videos being made, there will be links to that in all the usual places as well. Otherwise, I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, one of these and one tutorial. So if you're interested in seeing more of that, or just a whole bunch of Let's Plays, feel free to subscribe. I hope you found that interesting, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Connor, David Key, Edward Holt, Emily Koyo, Halo Factory, Posho, Sindra Larson, Tusk, and Zenith for supporting these videos. If you want to see your name in the credits or to hear yourself shouted out at the end, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.